How would you describe the expectations for this season at the beginning of the year, even though you had all those changes in the offseason? I guess both of you guys can take the question.
Yeah, I think, expectations are, they're kind of almost made up in a sense. I think obviously our team's great. I think obviously the media hypes up a lot of expectations, but I think in the group, and obviously, like you said, Ras spoke about it, high expectations. It's because we know what kind of group we have in that room and, all the players in that room. And, like you said, Brad and Daryl, before the season was to make playoffs, I think the goal is to win. It's not just to make playoffs, it's to win the cup. So obviously disappointing, the expectations weren't matched. But I think, when we evaluated over the summer, I think we have to come back with the same expectations just to win the cup.
Would you consider opening contract talks about an extension here?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I got one more year, and I'll, kind of look at it that way, and got one more year, and that's all I can say.
Did you feel that maybe part of the...
Because the team was so close in points and there were a lot of one-goal games, is there a lot more could-have, would-have, should-have today? Do you spend time thinking about the points you got away today?
There's been a lot of thinking, yeah, that's for sure. You look back at it, and you could have won that game, or you could have taken that point there, or that post could have gone in and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's just the way it goes sometimes. And obviously, overall, we weren't good enough to be in the playoffs, and that's just simple.
There's sort of two stats that stand out: the 81 posts and crossbars, but also I think this team ranks second in the league in missed shots. So when you look at those two, what's the breakdown of bad luck versus lack of execution?
Yeah, I don't even know, honestly. It's, I think, like I said, you're looking back at the season, and every time you miss the playoffs, you're looking back at if we won that game or stuff like that. And if I was, more dialed in and put that puck in the net and stuff like that. And but like I said, it's just the end of the day, we weren't good enough to be in the playoffs, and obviously it's disappointing.
Matt, what was the biggest adjustment to playing two new head coaches?
I think just the system, different system than I'm used to. But there was no real big adjustment with Daryl. I thought it was just me trying to find my game. At the beginning of the year, I think it was more comfortability. But then after I got settled here and, found some chemistry with the guys and, made more friendships, I thought, my game kind of excelled and took off. But I don't think there was no too big of adjustment with Daryl.
Mackenzie, was there an adjustment off the ice in moving from one head coach to another as well, and the approach that the head coach had?
Yeah, I think the off ice was just myself. It had nothing to do with Daryl or the coaches. I think I just needed to find my way in Calgary. It was a huge, change for me coming from Florida to here, and I don't think I saw it was going to be that big of a change when I first got here. I thought it was just going to be, smooth, but it was a difficult change for sure. And once I got settled, I thought, my game was better.
At what point in the season did you start to feel comfortable?
Probably around Christmas time, just after Christmas, and then obviously All-Star break. Kind of went away from here a bit, and then came back, and I thought after that I settled and got more comfortable here.
Elias, when you say 1 year left and we'll see what happens, what would need to happen for you to consider staying beyond that year?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not July 1st yet, and haven't talked and haven't thought about it. It's just season just ended and we missed the playoffs, so it's just disappointing.
Talked about. As you've said a couple times that the team just wasn't good enough to make the playoffs, do you think that if you ran it back next year with basically the same group, it would get better and you guys could be contenders as this team's built currently?
Yeah, I think, last season I felt like we were just right there. And this season, obviously we lost two really good players, but brought in really good players as well. So I felt like we had a good shot again. But I think we have a good group in there. We have a really good team. Just didn't figure it out this season. But I think we have a group that could make some damage in the playoffs.
You've been here for a while, and it's been sort of 1 year on, 1 year off. Do you have any idea why it's been that way?
Not really. I don't have a good answer for that. I think it's disappointing every time you miss the playoffs, and especially a year like this where we felt like we had a good group and really good players and could make a run. But this is the NHL, and it's a lot of good teams.
Well, you touched on it, but just when you think about everything that went into this year, maybe the last few years, how would you say your level of frustration is right now?
Yeah, this year was probably the most frustrated year since, like we talked about earlier. It's we're had a really, we're right there last year and lost some players and brought in some good players and felt like we had a good chance and so it's obviously tough when you miss opportunity like this.
Was it a fun environment here? It seemed a lot of the time, the players, and maybe there wasn't a ton of joy. Like, was it sort of a fun place to come to work every day this season?
Well, I think we need a new rink, maybe. That'll help. I think the Saddle Dome's obviously got some character, but maybe a couple updates will make it a little bit better. But I think for the guys and the teammates, we have fun together for sure. I had lots of great times with the boys this year and lots of good memories. And, it's a frustrating year, but looking back on the year, I didn't want it to end. I had a great time with a lot of guys. I don't think losing's not fun. There was some times this year where we lost, and coming to the rink after a loss is never fun, no matter what team you play for. But coming to the rink, I had a great time.
And you felt like your teammates, like you were on the same page. You were a group of men that wanted to win for each other. You're a tight-knit group.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see why anybody wouldn't want to win for each other. I thought we have a great group of guys in there, especially coming here and not knowing anybody. Everybody was great. They treated me great, and a lot of great friends. I made a lot of great friends this season.
This was your first year playing without Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk on your line, and obviously Tyler Toffoli worked out on your right, but you had so many different left wingers. They tried Jonathan Huberdeau on the left, and Dylan Dubé on Ruzicka had some time. What was it like having all of that change on your left-hand side on the first line?
No, I mean, I feel like, there's not many seasons you find a line that stays together for, most of the year. So I think, obviously we last season playing with a line for that long, it's rare. And usually you find a guy, and me and Toff had some good chemistry. And, I feel like, every team has like two guys and then the third guy is on a little rotation. So, it's I'm used to it, so it's fun.
Kenzie, you guys finished second in the league in shots for, third in shots against, and as with your plus shot differential, the highest by a non-playoff team in NHL history. Mm-hmm. Why didn't that formula work for you guys?
I guess we just didn't score. I guess when I look back on my season, I guess I can look back on a lot of chances I had that I wish I, would have went into the net. I think we just, like you said, there's a bunch of records that we broke this year on the bad side. But maybe we can, adjust that next year and, we'll come on the better end. And I think a lot of guys, would say that they just wish they scored a lot more. We got a lot of good chances this year.